Hello everyone, Super Doe Killer here from SDK Streaming. It's been about a week since we made a video. I've had finals all week, so didn't really have time to film any videos, but hopefully now that finals are over and summer's here, we're going to be able to do 2 or 3 videos a week. So hopefully we'll be able to meet all your video watching needs here with SDK Streaming. This week we're going to talk about SCG Open Atlanta, the first standard open since Amonkhet was released and since the banning of Philadelphia Guardian. We're also going to talk about some Magic news that has come to light this week, some rumors that are flying around of potential sets that might be coming out. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Grand Prix Atlanta was 2 weeks ago, and it was the first SCG Open, the first big standard tournament since the banning of Philadelphia Guardian and Amonkhet was released to the public and legal in standard play. We didn't really know what we were going to see with the emergency banning of Philadelphia Guardian the Wednesday before. Players only had 2 days to play test and get ready for a tournament that most of them spend sometimes weeks preparing for. While it's safe to say that most of the people were probably planning on playing the Saheeli combo since it did survive the first banning that Monday when Sensei's Divining Top was the only card banned, the Wednesday emergency banning threw people off. Therefore, there were a lot of Mardu vehicle decks running around for the tour that weekend. It's safe to say that this was a safe deck and a deck that people already knew, so it was something that most of them already had, so it was a safe bet that they would play that. I don't feel like that this is going to be what the format is going to look like in the weeks to come when the professionals have more time to play test and we have a Pro Tour that's coming up as well. The meta usually changes after the Pro Tour because people want to play what the professionals are playing. I don't believe we'll see a lot of Mardu Vehicles decks after the Pro Tour. I believe that this was just a safe bet, a safe deck that everybody already knew, and people didn't have enough time to prepare for a new format 2 days in advance. With that said, the SCG Tour Top 8 consisted of 5 Mardu Vehicles decks, with the final being Mardu Vehicles versus Mardu Vehicles, with Mardu Vehicles winning the finals of SCG Tour Atlanta. There were, however, no copies that I saw on camera of Gideon of the Trials, the most expensive Planeswalker in the new set. The 2 white and a colorless Gideon of the Trials that says for 0 you create a... well, his 0 ability lets you create a emblem that says as long as you can control a Gideon Planeswalker, you can't lose and your opponent cannot win the game. It also turns Gideon into a 4/4 indestructible creature and prevent all damage till end of turn. And his +1 says prevent all damage from a single source until your next turn. He come in at a pre-order price of $49.99. I don't know if this just kept people away from buying him because Gideon Alav Zendikar is already so powerful and people already had him. And he is the better Planeswalker right now, making a token and turning into a 5/5 or pumping your whole team with his emblem. There have been some Gideon of the Trials decks on MTGO, some Gideon Tribal decks even on MTGO, trying to use the Gideon emblem to keep their opponent from winning the game. But with my experience, Gideon of the Trials, on turn 3, creating an emblem, you still have to do a lot to try to protect your Gideon to try to win the game. The emblem's great as long as you can protect your Gideon, but if your Gideon is gone, it's a lot easier for you to lose. So with no Gideons that I could see on camera, I haven't looked at all the deck lists, but from the feature matches, I didn't see any Gideon of the Trials. I did, however, see plenty of the new Liliana Planeswalker. Her +1 makes a 2/2 zombie, and you put 2 cards from your library into your graveyard. Her minus ability returns a creature from the graveyard to the battlefield, and it becomes a black zombie in addition to its other creature types. And then her ultimate destroys all non-zombie creatures. She was a little bit more expensive on the cost, but with the meta the way it was, she seemed to be better playable, especially in some new decks like mono black zombies, even in a Mardu deck. And even in a couple of Mardu Vehicles decks, they chose to put the more expensive, as far as mana cost goes, Liliana over the cheaper cost mana-based Gideon of the Trials. And I believe this was because they were already using the Gideon Alav Zendikar. It was surprising to see more Lilianas than Gideons. Liliana is a good Planeswalker, as she is proving from SCG Tour play. And I do believe that her $15 price tag is about where she needs to be due to her mana cost and her abilities that she performs. Mardu was still on the top, like we said before. We have another standard tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. I think it will be after the Pro Tour. Game Day is also coming up in a couple of weeks, so go out to your local game store, brew you up a deck, see if you can win Game Day, take home that cool playmat, take home the bragging rights, and just create a cool deck. Don't, do what you want to do, play what you want to play. That's what the game days are all about, the standard game days, creating new decks, taking them up there and whooping up on some folks. So that is that segment of our news. Now we get into the Magic rumors that have been flying around the last month or so. We've been seeing some things online, been seeing some things from Twitter where Magic has been polling the community about naming a new core set, or a name for a new core set. If you don't know what the core set was, if you're new to Magic in the last couple of years, the last core set that they printed was actually Magic Origins, aka Magic 2016. And the Magic core sets usually include a lot of build-around reprints that are good for the game, that are good for Standard, that keep Standard in flow. They're good for new beginners. It's usually a bigger set, anywhere from 249 to 449 cards in that set, with all of them being reprints. There's a few new cards in the core sets, not a lot, but they were more for people that were just now starting out into Magic and wanted to build playable decks with cards that they may have already had or that their friends have already had, so that the reprint over and over and over again helped keep the card value down, and it also helped keep the cards available for new players and young players that haven't been in the game very long to be able to still build a semi-competitive deck. After Magic 2016, aka Origins, Wizards released that they would no longer do core sets, that they would instead they would open up more expansions as the year went on. That's why we get a release in January, a release in June, a release in September. That's why we get 3 to 4 releases a year, along with the special sets like Modern Masters and Conspiracy, and the big Commander decks, and with this year also Iconic Masters that will be coming out in November. However, with the recent polling that's been coming from Wizards, it's been rumored that the core sets will be coming back. Wizards released a poll about a month ago saying that if we did another core set what would we want to name it? What would it be called? They don't want to call it core sets again because they don't want to admit that they made a mistake by dropping the core sets. The core sets didn't sell as well as the expansions do, but that's because most of them are reprints. People open the same cards over and over again. They don't want to keep doing that. Therefore, they don't want to buy cases and cases of core sets to open because they know that they have most of the cards that are already there. However, the only way to keep a game going is if you can get new players and new blood into the game. The core sets help do that by making these cards available, cheaper, and at a better rate than the expansions do. So what do you think? Do you think core sets are coming back based on the recent knowledge that we have and some of the rumors that are swirling around and some other YouTubers that are making videos? It would seem that core sets are coming back, and I think it's a good thing. I think that if the cheaper we can keep Standard and Magic, the cheaper that the game is for new players, young players that are on a budget that can't afford $30 and $40 cards and $50 and $60 cards and $300 and $400 decks. If we can keep a competitive level for less than $200, I believe it will bring more people into Magic. It'll keep more people into Magic. And we won't have to have so many bans all the time because we'll have other cards that can answer these new cards that are coming out. And people already have them. They already have the answers that they need. Bannings are not good for the game. When they have to ban something, it's usually because something is just out of hand, like the Felidar Guardian Saheeli Rai combo was. Before Amonkhet, it had a 40 to 50% win rate. After Amonkhet, it was still 50 to 60% win rate, and people don't like seeing the same decks over and over again. People saw Mardu vehicles, they saw Black Green Delirium when the Smuggler's Copter and Emrakul were legal. They banned those. Black Green Delirium pretty much went downhill. This past weekend, there were a lot more Black Green decks, but I believe that they were more for... They were aggro, they were control, they were different variances of the Black Green deck, and there wasn't just Black Green Delirium. Variance in Magic is good. We need a bunch of different sets. We need a bunch of different decks. People don't want to see the same deck over and over and over again for 15, 16 rounds of coverage. Bringing the core sets back would help make more decks playable for more people at a cheaper rate. The only way to keep the game going is to get more people playing. The only way to do that is to make the cards cheaper, make the cards more readily available. Standard is how Wizards makes their money. They need an influx of people, new people playing all the time. When people quit playing, Magic starts to go downhill, and we can't have a great game like Magic the Gathering going downhill and coming to an end like some of the other trading card games that were one and dones. Magic's been around for 20-something years. It's in a little bit of a rough patch right now. I don't believe it's on its way out the door, but it is. The attendance at F&M's for Standard, the attendance for F&M's for Modern is down some because of the price of the cards. Even with Modern Masters 2017 reprinting, it wasn't as big of a reprint as was rumored, and therefore the cards went down, and now they're starting to go back up. The fetch lands are already back up almost to where they were. Liliana is right at $100 again. Tarmogoyf is right at $100 again. Some of the cards did drop a little and have pretty much leveled out, but for the most part, Modern is still a very expensive format, and we need to figure out a way to get more reprints of Modern staples in flow, because it's going to go the way of Vintage and Legacy, where people are just not going to want to play it anymore because they can't afford to build a competitive deck. And if you don't have a chance to win, people aren't going to want to play in a competitive atmosphere, in a competitive environment. They'll continue to play kitchen table with their friends. They'll buy the cards that they want, the cards that they need. But it will not be good for Wizards, because Wizards makes money not on the selling of individual cards, but on packs, boxes, and bundles. And it's also not good for your local game store to try to rely on individual card sales when they need to sell booster boxes, and they need to sell bundles, and they need to sell intro decks, and they need to sell Planeswalker decks. That is where they're going to make their money. So it is my plea to Wizards to please do these reprints, bring the core sets back, let young, new Magic players enjoy Magic like I did when M15 came out, when I first started playing Magic. That's what got me hooked. That's what got me playing. That's why I'm here now. That's why I'm making these videos. So please, Wizards, fix whatever you gotta fix. Get new players coming again. Get Standard fun again. Standard is a little more fun now with Amonkhet and with the banning of Felidar Guardian. But people are still not sure that they want to come back and start investing in Standard again, because it is such a fickle environment. With that said, I'm Super Doe Killer. This video is brought to you by legitmtg.com. Go over there and shop for your singles. You can buy sealed product. Everything over $2 ships free. There's also blogs, there's vlogs, there's podcasts, there's videos. For everything from kitchen table to Commander. If you need it for Magic the Gathering, you can pretty much find it at legitmtg.com. This is Super Doe Killer. You can watch some of my playthrough videos on YouTube. You can watch some of my deck techs on YouTube. Also, for the whole month of May, we're going to be doing a giveaway. All you got to do is like, comment, subscribe to the video. And at the end of May, we're going to give away an Amonkhet bundle. And the way we'll do it is everyone that like, comment, and subscribe to all the videos in May will be entered into a drawing, and we will pick one to win an Amonkhet bundle. So, I'm Super Doe Killer. Hope you guys have a great day.